Australia's trade policy often reflects the sector's priorities. Free trade agreements focus on securing export markets for minerals, sometimes at the expense of other industries. When diplomatic tensions arise, as with China's restrictions on barley and wine, the lack of diversification limits Australia's bargaining power. Despite the wealth generated, the benefits of mining remain unevenly distributed and the risks are mounting. The global shift toward renewable energy threatens future demand for coal and gas, while even iron ore faces long-term uncertainty as steel production plateaus and recycling expands. Australia's continued dependence on mining leaves it exposed to the next downturn, with few new engines of growth ready to take over. The story of mining is one of impressive numbers masking deeper fragilities. It delivers wealth on paper, but that wealth often fails to reach most Australians or build a more resilient economy. As the country looks ahead, the challenge is not just how to manage the next commodity cycle, but how to address the structural imbalances that have been allowed to persist for so long. Imbalances that also shape how Australians prepare for their own financial futures. One of the most significant features of Australia's financial landscape is its compulsory superannuation system. Designed to help workers build retirement savings over their careers, superannuation now accounts for about 23% of household assets according to the ABS. On paper, this appears to be a pillar of national prosperity, with the average balance per adult reaching $172,000 and the average household holding about $237,000 in superannuation. But the reality for most Australians is more complicated, and the promise of long-term financial security often falls short. For many retirees, superannuation is less a steady income stream and more a stopgap for immediate financial needs. A common strategy, especially among those approaching retirement, is to use super payouts to eliminate outstanding mortgage debt. Research shows that 57% of retirees transfer a significant portion of their super into home equity before accessing the age pension. While this can provide short-term relief, it leaves many with little left in their accounts. The typical retired household holds just $9,000 in superannuation, making reliance on the age pension almost unavoidable. This outcome undermines the system's original goal of reducing pressure on public pensions and highlights a disconnect between compulsory savings and actual retirement security. The problem is compounded by the uneven distribution of super balances. Wealthier Australians often use superannuation as a tax-advantaged investment vehicle, contributing up to $27,500 annually at concessional rates and benefiting from tax-free growth inside the fund. These strategies allow some to accumulate multi-million-dollar balances, while the majority of workers retire with far less. Tax reforms aimed at curbing these advantages generally affect only the top tier, doing little to address the broader issue of inadequate savings for most. Younger workers face a different set of risks. With government budget deficits mounting, there is growing discussion about reducing the current 11% superannuation contribution rate. Any cuts to contributions would hit younger Australians hardest, especially as they already contend with high housing costs and sluggish wage growth. The system is built on the assumption of stable employment and continuous contributions, an assumption that may not hold as economic pressures increase and workforce patterns shift. Superannuation structure also creates certain behavioral pitfalls. Because retirement savings are locked away and separated from other assets, many people treat their super as something abstract, an amount to be accessed in a lump sum at retirement rather than managed as part of a long-term plan. This mindset encourages withdrawals to pay off debts or cover large expenses, rather than providing a sustainable income through retirement. Once the money is gone, retirees often find themselves asset-rich but cash-poor, with home equity tied up in property and little flexibility to cover rising living costs or emergencies. Fees and insurance premiums further erode balances over time. The average super fund charges around 1% in management fees each year, which can significantly reduce total returns over decades. Most accounts also include default insurance coverage, with premiums deducted directly from balances. While this can be valuable, many younger workers pay for policies they neither need nor fully understand, reducing their ability to build meaningful savings. The system's failure to adapt to modern work patterns adds another layer of complexity. Gig economy workers, freelancers, and those with irregular employment often miss out on consistent super contributions. Women, in particular, face disadvantage due to career breaks and lower lifetime earnings, resulting in smaller balances at retirement. Even for those who do save diligently, the means-tested age pension can penalize careful planning, as retirees who preserve their super may inadvertently disqualify themselves from government support. For most Australians, superannuation looks substantial on paper, but often evaporates quickly once accessed, leaving many dependent on public support. The system's original intent, to provide retirement security and reduce the burden on government pensions, remains unfulfilled for a large portion of the population. Instead, superannuation has become a complex and unevenly distributed form of paper wealth, with its benefits concentrated among those already well off. The gap between what superannuation promises and what it delivers is shaped not just by individual choices, but by broader policy settings. The way Australia's tax system interacts with superannuation and other forms of wealth plays a major role in determining who benefits most and who is left behind.